Hey everybody, this is Mr. Storm, and in this video we are going to make another website that is a generator website. This one is going to be a dad joke generator. We're going to create some dad jokes here. The best part about this project is I get to introduce to you a concept called API. Now APIs are basically projects that are created that you can link to grab information. You can use APIs, for example, to build a website that has that pulls information about the weather to display the current weather in a certain location. Basically, APIs allow you to have access to databases of info. For us, we're going to use an API that has a bunch of jokes in it, and we're going to generate random jokes from that website. Okay, so we're going to create an HTML, CSS, JavaScript project. I'm calling mine Dad Joke. You can call yours whatever you'd like. And let's let it load. Okay, now I am going to create this entire project with you step by step, just because APIs can be, I don't know, a bit finicky, and also, you know, why not? Let's just build this whole thing together. So the HTML, again, is going to be incredibly easy. Let's create a div because I want a kind of a container on my website. So we'll create a div with a class called app. And inside the div, we're going to create an h1. And I'm going to make this all caps. Random joke generator. All right. And then a paragraph. We'll call it. We'll give it an ID of joke. And let's just put a joke in here. You know, what do you call a dog who can do magic? A labracadabrador. All right. Corny joke, but that's what we're making. Okay. And we're going to have a button that when we click it is going to call a function called getJoke. Get random joke. Okay, that is our HTML. Let's take a look and see what it looks like. That's exactly what we want, right? Joke or header. We get our joke and we have a button. Perfect. Let's style this sucker. All right. So first, I'm going to get rid of the default padding and margin. And I'm going to change the box sizing to border box. You want to do these things whenever you're using divs. That way they're a lot easier to manipulate. All right. Now let's get into the body. Let's set the background color. Let's set it to, I'm going to do like a kind of an orangish yellow kind of. So the hex value I'm using is FAB22E. Oh, and I misspelled background. There we go. And I'm going to change the font to a sans serif font. So Arial Helvetica sans serif. So let's refresh. There we go. That's the color I want and the font I want. Perfect. All right, let's format, or yeah, let's style the app class. Background, we'll just make it just a basic black. And I spelled background wrong again. Background, and we'll just make it background color. Make it a little nicer. Okay. Let's set the margin to auto. That way it's automatically in the middle of the, it's centered horizontally. Let's set the margin top to 5%. Let's set the width to 100%. We'll set the max width to 1200 pixels. Give it a padding of 50 pixels and a border radius of 20 pixels. That way it has a rounded, or it has rounded corners. There we go. So we have our section here in the middle. But notice that our colors are still, so that kind of off black that we set the background color to, our default text color is black. So we're gonna have to set those colors as something different, which we'll do right now. Let's go ahead and style our H1. And I'm gonna give it the same color as the background. And let's set text align to center. And we'll change the font size to, I don't know, 100 pixels. Let's see what that looks like. All right, yes, nice and big. That's kind of what I'm looking for. I want it really nice and big. All right, I might change that later, but for now that looks good. Okay, now to style our paragraph. Font size can be 60 pixels, so not quite as big as the header. We'll set the color to white. Let's also text align center. Let's change the line height to 60 pixels so that there's more spacing between the lines. Margin to 30 pixels by 0. All right, let's check that out. There we go. What can you call it done? Now I want to play around with that line height a bit. Let's say we get rid of that. Let's get rid of line height and see what happens. So now, maybe, you know what? Yeah, we don't need to worry about line height. I was going to play around with that, but that's fine. That looks good. I wanted it squished a little bit, but that's okay. Okay. Now let's program the button, or let's style the button so it actually looks nice. So button. First, we want to change the display to block so that we can set its margin to auto, which will center it on the, or in the middle of the div. Okay. Let's change its background to also that's, oh, not line height, that same color. I guess we could, since we're using this color a lot, we could create a variable to store the, nah, I'm not going to worry about that. We'll just keep using the same color. That's fine. There is a way with CSS where you can create a variable and store the value of, you know, like a color or a font size or whatever, and then just use that variable whenever. It's a better practice, but this is fine. Let's get rid of the border. And let's set the font size to something nice and big. Probably not as big as our text, so 40 pixels is fine. We'll set the text color to that off black there. Font weight will be bold. Give it some padding. So 12 pixels by 25 pixels sounds good. And change the cursor to pointer and border radius of 10 pixels. All right, so that's a lot for the button, but it should make it look really nice. There it is. Okay, good. Now the only other thing I want to do is I want to make sure that when I hover over this Get Random Joke button, it changes to a different background color so I can see that it's a clickable button. So button, hover, and let's just set it to white. super easy. And actually, I'm going to do the hex value. Don't ask me why. I just like using hex values. So now when I hover, there we go. So now it's obvious that that is a clickable button. Okay, good. This looks great. I like the style. Now let's get into the script. Now, here's the thing. This is actually not going to be a ton of code for the script because the API is doing all the heavy lifting for us. First, let's get a reference to that, to the joke. We'll call it joke container. Document.get element by ID. Joke. Okay. So that's a reference to the paragraph element. Now we need to get a reference to the API itself. So let me go ahead and pull over the API. So this is a website, Joke API documentation. So Joke API is the API we're going to use. And on this website, this allows us to set the parameters for what jokes we're looking for, and it gives us a link to that API. So if we come down to try it out here, there are some things that we need to set. First of all, we can set any joke, or we can just do custom. So if I just want programming jokes, I can check that. Miscellaneous is fine. I'm going to say programming, miscellaneous, pun, and spooky. I don't want Christmas jokes. I don't want dark jokes because, you know, we want to keep it school appropriate. But these should be fine. You can change your language here. I'm going to keep it to English. Now, this is really important, okay? Select flags to blacklist. This is important. I love doing this project, especially in class, but we need to make sure that we do not include not safe for work. We do not include religious, political, racist, sexist, or explicit jokes. Turn all of those off, okay? Make sure you turn or check the box next to all of these. What blacklisting does is it makes it so that they don't pull any jokes that are tagged with these things. So if you're building your own joke generator website on your own that you're not going to turn in and you want to just, turn those on, that's fine. But for this assignment, for this project, you have to turn off not safe for work, religious, political, racist, sexist. Check all of these boxes, okay? Because I don't want any inappropriate jokes showing up on our website. Okay, the response format. We're going to use this JSON format, JSON. That's the default. That is the format we're going to use. We're also going to uncheck two-part. We only want single-part jokes. Let's see, anything else? We can also put in a search string to only include jokes that have that specific keyword in them if we'd like, or if we want to set a range for ID. Notice that this has 1,367 jokes that are possible. We're going to just get them all. And we only want one joke. So we can preview the kind of information that we're going to get from this API if we click Send Request. And it's going to give us some data. Okay, each of these data, each of these lines is a discrete piece of data that we can pull from this API. So error, category, type, joke is the actual piece of data that we want. So for example, the value of the joke data is have a great weekend. And notice it has that /n, which means new line. I hope your code behaves the same on Monday as it did on Friday. Ha ha, that is a funny joke. So that is the data that we're going to get. So let's make sure, so let's talk about how we're going to get that data in using JSON. So let's go do that. First, this right here, this is the URL that we need. So let's go ahead and copy that URL and bring it over, and let's say let URL equal, and just paste that in, right? So that is the URL that we're grabbing, okay? Now, we're going to create a function inside of a variable. And we're going to do it like this. So, oh, wrong. So what this is doing is it's creating a variable, but turning it into a function, and the function is going to do the thing that we're about to do, right? So this is just another way of creating a function. Some people prefer it this way. Other people prefer it the way we've been doing. I just wanted to show you a different way of doing it. So we need to create, or we need to use this fetch function, and we're going to fetch the URL that we created. Notice there's no semicolon at the end of that because this is part of the fetch. So we're going to say then, so dot then, data data.json, because this is a JSON format, so we need to convert our data from JSON. Then we're going to get a specific item in that data stream, and that item is going to be joke container.inner HTML item.joke. And now down here, let's make sure we put a semicolon there because that is the end of this statement. And believe it or not, that's all of the code. So this is just way more efficient doing it this way than what we've been doing, but it's completely up to you. So this fetch command here is going to first convert the data, or grab the JSON data and convert it to data. Then it's going to grab an item, and it's going to make that item.joke the inner HTML of our joke container. So let's try it and see if it works. So let's refresh. Get random joke. Get random joke. Did I miss something here? Hold on one second. Get joke. Joke container. What did I miss? I don't think I missed anything. Is it just taking a while? Let me try it again. Joke container, inner HTML. Interesting. Let's see if I can figure out what's going on here. Okay. That's fine. Interesting. Sources. I'm just going to paste over the text from my oh yeah, there we go. Okay, now that works. So it must have been a typo that I didn't notice. Joke API, Maybe setting it to any is probably what we need, because that was the only difference between my notes. So yeah, we can set it to any. But it looked like there was something up here. Hold on. No, everything looks fine. Okay, I don't know what the typo was, but there was a typo in there somewhere. But anyway, so now you can take a look at some of these jokes. You can randomly, I didn't vaccinate my 10 kids and the one that survived is fine. That is savage. Oh my gosh, that's a dark joke. Anyway, so that's the dad joke generator. I don't know what that weird, what happened there, but anyway, so that's how you use an API. And that's how you create this project. So sorry about the little weirdness at the end there. I don't know what I did. I don't know if I've missed a semicolon or something somewhere, but things happen. Anyway, if you know what it was, then let me know. Have fun with this, and I'll see you in the next project. Thanks.